I'm Father Mathew Abraham. I'm a Redemptorist priest. I'm also a medical doctor. Well, I did this fellowship during my priestly formation. As part of the priestly studies, we go through several courses on philosophy, theology, psychology, and kind of an intense community life. In between, we have something called regency, that is a 1 year break from the routine studies, where we go and spend a year immersed in the secular world and come back to continue the further studies before ordination. So it was that 1 year of regency I did this fellowship. I knew Ravi and Thelma much before that. While I was doing post-graduation, MD in community medicine in Vellore, I knew them. And I was very much impressed by the kind of work which they are doing. We were like good friends. So when this 1 year of break came, I got in touch with them and asked them, I told them that I have this 1 year of break from my studies, routine studies. Then they proposed this, and I found that it was a good opportunity. That is how I started doing this fellowship. Well, those I think I was I was the first batch. We were three, Naveen and Abraham with me. Since it was this fellowship was starting, we had a lot of flexibility. We could design our own, incorporate our own interests into this. So first 6 months, I decided to stay in a slum in Bangalore. I also, for the rest of the 6 months, I divided into different parts and visited a few good models in healthcare, FRCH and JAMCAD and several other models. But I also spent some time in rural Karnataka in a project with Sister Dr. Aquinas. Spent some time in Jharkhand with the Catholic bishops, the Chai branch of Bihar, Jharkhand, Catholic Health Association. Sister Prabha was the director at that time there. Then I spent some time in Arunachal Pradesh also. So that was basically the field experience. And there was a lot of time to read and reflect and also to interact with a lot of good people. Thelma was my mentor during that 1 year period. And that course was very good in a way. It added value to what I had in mind. It also gave me a lot of clarity regarding how to proceed in the future. So it was a wonderful experience. Yeah, as part of the field experience of this fellowship, I stayed in one of the slums in Bangalore along with one of my companions. He also was a candidate for priesthood, one Xavier, he's a priest now. So we hired a small house in the slum. You can't call it a house, it was just a room. Everything has to be done there, even bathing and all. So people looked at us with a lot of suspicion when we started staying there. And there were also young people who were involved in a little bit of crime. So we were also a little apprehensive and afraid. So evenings, daytime we spent in CHC, reading and meeting people and all. But when we reached there back in evening, we used to sit in front of that room. And when the children were passing by, we used to smile at them. We also used to see a lot of children being abused, verbally and physically. And I think the parents themselves were a lot of, they had a lot of pent up anger, and probably they were also going through a lot of helplessness and difficulties. So when we started smiling at the children, they came to us, and after some time, they came with their books and sat with us, and we had a light in the room, so they started spending time there, and the parents were happy. And then the crowd increased, and it was a little bit of discomfort for us, but then it was also a very fulfilling experience. So through the children, we got entry there. Then after the children went home, the young people started coming. Some of them were getting involved in criminal activities, and somehow they developed a rapport with us. They started playing uh, uh, different kind of indoor games with us, and mostly they were sharing. They were also talking about the kind of crimes they were involved in, why they were involved in. And then we explored their life. We realized that in their childhood they were also abused, and there were a lot of pent up anger in them, and we could understand why there is through that, why there is a lot of crime and all those things in the violence in the society. One of the reasons why this happens, and they were being exploited by some people by giving them money. But through that interaction, we could see how they were also going through a little bit of transformation. By the time we finished that experience and came out, people were very sad, or we were also a little, found it difficult to come out from there. So they wanted us to visit them, and for some time we did that, but then it became difficult. So it was wonderful. One thing which really struck me there was, first time in my life I understood the value of a toilet in home. We had to struggle initially, but then finally we figured out a way. And women, never knew that it was so tough for women, because they had to wait till the sun comes down and to be dark to relieve their bladder. So in the sense, we were not going through that kind of tremendous helplessness, because we had money. We knew that it is just a few months experience. But then the kind of helplessness and difficulty these people go through, that was very touching. When I was in Arunachal Pradesh, I felt it was a different world. I could come across mothers who had lost several children. Some of them, when you ask them, they said that I delivered 10 children, and then finally I have only 3. The rest of the children died either because of diarrhea or pneumonia or malaria or some kind of preventable disease. So those were great. That gave an idea about the realities of the different parts of the country, whether it is in an urban area or in a rural area or in a tribal area. I had similar experiences in rural Karnataka as well as in Jharkhand also. Basically, I was born and brought up in Kerala, where the realities are different. And my medical education was also there, except the post-graduation. But in Tamil Nadu also, the situation is not very bad like this. So this fellowship gave me a very good exposure to some of the realities of the country. Not just the negative or the distressing realities, but also some very good models which people built up in different parts of the country. So I think that way this was a great help. Well, I joined medicine because as a youngster I felt that there was financial security in it, and also as a doctor I will get respect in the society. Of course, I wanted to get married, and when it comes to marriage as a doctor, I knew that I'll get a good proposal. So these are the reasons which made me choose medicine. In Kerala, those days, it was either engineering or medicine. So more than machines, I liked human beings. So that was another reason. So when I was in third year MBBS, in the context of retreat, I I had a very personal experience of God, which changed my perception of life. So from that point onwards, prayer became a kind of relationship with God, talking to God, listening to God, and through the Bible, through the Gospels, I saw the healing ministry of Jesus. And when I compared that with what is happening in the field of healthcare, I realized that that is not the way it should be practiced. So I was in a dilemma. So one day when I was in I was posted in the gynecology ward with my companions. We usually take a case and we present it to the people, for the professors. That's how we learn. And I was examining this woman in the ward. She was about to deliver in a few days. This is a government medical college, poor lady, general ward. So suddenly, usually when we examine, we are focusing on the organ of that particular organ. That day it was a uterus, so I was moving the baby, figuring out whether it will be a normal delivery or not. Suddenly I happened to look at the face of that lady that day, and I saw that she was weeping. So that touched me. So I could not continue the examination, and I got into a conversation with her. It was in Malayalam, but this was the experience. This was the essence of that conversation, that discussion. She told me that I am a woman, and it is very embarrassing for me to lie down in front of you people who are men also, exposing my big tummy. And this is my first baby. You are moving my baby. You're poking your fingers into my tummy. Not just one person, one after the other. And it is painful for me. I also don't know what will happen to my baby. Then she looked at me and she asked me, if I am your own sister, will you do this to me? That struck me. So when I walked out of that ward that day, there was a thin film of tear in my eyes. My vision was blurred. I did not know the future at that time. But today I see the future with a little more clarity. And when I look back, I see that probably that was the beginning of a journey. I understood that medical profession was slowly losing that human touch. That it was the training, even the training of the medical students, the focus was more on knowledge and skills, and the human person was not being emphasized, not being, the focus was, people are considered as cases and organs and systems. So in that process, we were losing the larger picture, the holistic picture of a person. We were not able to realize that this is a human being who is suffering. We have to deal with them with respect and with love and with compassion. So that was a significant experience which transformed me. And in my relationship with God, in prayer, gradually I discovered, I developed a sense of mission. And I also, as I mentioned, I wanted to get married. I love children. I like the tenderness of a woman, like the family. So all those things were in my mind. But at some point of time, I felt that the sense of mission grew, and I felt that my call is to a larger family, beyond a small family. That's why I chose to become a priest. That I chose the larger family, the Catholic Church, and choosing of community medicine. Gradually my career became clear. That is how I chose community medicine, and I was fortunate to do that in CMC Vellore. Then after that I joined the Redemptorist congregation, where I got a wonderful formation. the background of philosophy, theology, psychology, also the intense community life. Those things were tough. It was difficult initially, but then when I look back, I see the value of all this. So it was during that period I got this 1 year of break, and I went through this fellowship training. Well, that added much value to what I believed and what I wanted to do. So I will not be able to say that it was this was the turning point or this was a transformation experience, but this added much value to the journey which I was undergoing. And I cherish those days or that 1 year which I was doing this fellowship. It's not just the fellowship, but also wonderful people like Ravi and Thelma, and also so many other people in their team, and the other contacts which I got through them. All those things I cherish. So that's one of the reasons why, even though I'm busy, I find it difficult to take time off. When they asked me whether you can come and give a little session for these new fellows, I felt I should somehow make it, and it was a wonderful experience. I spent some time with them today. It was good to share with them, what I learned and what I believe. After the fellowship, I went back to my seminary, continued my priestly studies, and I was ordained as a priest in 2007. Soon after that, the bishops chose me to be the secretary of the health secretary of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of India. From 2008 onwards, I have been working in this post. The Catholic Church is involved in some of there are four main activities that the Catholic Church is involved in. One is healthcare, another one is education, third one is social work or community development, and the fourth one is called pastoral care, which is not much known outside. People know about this healthcare, education, and social work. Through pastoral care, basically what we attempt to do is to work with families in a setup called a parish. The priests and sisters, they work with families to help to stabilize families, to help them to be good husbands and wives, and also good parents, so that there will be the next generation will be a better generation. So that stabilizes the society. So that's the kind of work the Catholic Church does. Coming to healthcare, there are several organizations in the church. That is, one is called the Catholic Health Association of India, which is a network of about 3,500 member institutions. Most of them are small healthcare centers in far-flung areas, tribal and rural areas, and in slums, run by sister nurses. They in fact save a lot of lives. People who die of malaria, children who die of diarrhea. So that's the kind of work which they do. So some of them also move into the community and bring the women together, forming self-help groups, and help them to live a healthy life. Help them, to get financial stability and so on. So this is the work, and there are about 800 big hospitals. Some of them are medical colleges, some of them are in big cities, some are in the towns. So this is our healthcare network. We also have another network called the Sister Doctors Forum of India, 1,000 of them. They are also mostly into remote areas, full-time committed people. We have 25,000 sister nurses. We also have a lot of lay professionals, who are not full-timers, who are married and with the working in the society in the field of healthcare. So this is the strength of the Catholic Church. So as the health secretary of the CBCI, my role is to help these networks to be connected to the hierarchy, that is the bishops, and to bring a coordination among them. Also, we have a health policy of the Catholic Church. Some of it, it's a very good policy. So we try to implement this policy through these networks. Another thing we do is also we work with the government, try to influence the policies for the sake of the people, and also try to tap the government resources so that it will reach the people. One recent development that has happened is the various Christian churches, like the Catholics, the Protestants, and the Evangelicals, we have realized that we cannot be working in isolation anymore. So we start coming together. We formed something called the Christian Coalition for Health, which is a great help for, especially for advocacy. Various models are being tried in different parts of the country because the realities are different. So my role is more of a coordination, animation role. And as part of that responsibility, I keep traveling to different parts of the country and try to bring a lot of lot of team building within the network and also between the networks. So that's what basically I'm doing now.